Welcome back to the West Ham Network Extra. I am Alex, and I'm just about getting over that weekend. It was terrible, wasn't it? I mean, I don't think we can put it any other way, really. I mean, we went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and we got humiliated, absolutely humiliated, and it was just so frustrating and annoying to watch, and it really kind of like just ruined the whole weekend, didn't it? I mean, look, Tottenham deserved the win. We're not going to say otherwise. They were far better than us. First half, I thought we were okay. We were holding our own. We probably could have scored a little bit more than one goal. We had a couple of decent chances, but we went in at half time 1-0. And that second half, though, a complete capitulation. Terrible. Absolutely shocking. And I think that game highlighted a lot of the issues that we are having at the moment, and there are quite a few, but I think you can pretty much group them into one of 5 big issues that I think we have at the moment. And I'm going to go over each one of those 5 issues now. I know you may be saying, well, the manager's one of them. Well, we will talk about the manager a little bit later as well, but first of all, we're going to look at each one of those big 5 issues that I've mentioned. First big issue for me is our midfield. We just do not know what our best midfield is, and it is just so inconsistent. It could be inconsistent from one half to the next half. It really can. And we've got players who are not performing to the best of their game. You've got players who can put in a good performance in one game and then be missing the next. You've got players who just haven't quite settled yet, who are still, trying to understand the Premier League, and you've got players that for some reason are not even being played at the moment, which is a bit puzzling to me. Now, of course, we started the Tottenham game with a midfield of Rodriguez, Paquetá and Souček. Rodriguez has been growing into games as the season has progressed, and I thought he was really good against Ipswich, and I actually thought he was decent in the first half against Tottenham. He was putting in a lot of good challenges, and he was getting back, and he was winning the ball. He was doing a decent job, but the second half he just went missing, just like the whole of our midfield. All right, Paquetá has been underperforming all season, but we're going to talk about Paquetá in a little bit more detail a little bit later, so we'll move on from him now. We'll talk about Souček, a player who does frustrate a lot of West Ham United fans, because we know that he can put in some great performances, and the last couple of games against Ipswich and Brentford he did do really well, but again it was a terrible performance from him. Just non-existent in that midfield. And then you look at the players that we got on the bench. You've got Carlos Soler. We've brought him in. He comes on during the games, and I don't really think we've seen much from him that's impressed me so far. You got Alvarez. Why is he not starting? He was starting every single game last season. Does Lopetegui not like him? I don't know. So there's questions to be asked there. And of course we've still got Andy Irving as well. I mean, why not give him a chance if none of these other midfielders are up to it? Try something a little bit different. But we need to figure out what is our best midfield, because at the moment it lacks fight, it lacks intensity, and it lacks pace. And we really need to do something about it, because all of our problems tend to come from that midfield area, whether it is going forward, right, we lose the ball, or there's no creativity in that midfield, or we get caught out in the midfield where we give the ball away and then we gift chances to the opposition. A lot of our issues stem from that midfield area, so that is 100% something that we do need to address. The second big issue for me is goalkeeper Areola has not been brilliant so far this season. We know that he is a good shot stopper, but his distribution on Saturday was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. Every time he kicked the ball out further than 20 yards, he gave it straight to a Tottenham player. It was so frustrating to watch. And yes, he is a good shot stopper, but his positioning seems to be all over the place. There was a couple of goals where I felt like he definitely should have done a lot better. Now, last season we conceded a lot of goals, and Areola was in goal, but I think a lot of us were looking at our defence and thinking, right, well, that defence is absolutely terrible. And I think he kind of got let off the hook a little bit because our defence was so bad. We were looking at it and thinking, well, that is the problem. But we've changed that defence now, and we're still conceding a lot of goals. So is is Areola as good as we thought he was? I still think he is a decent keeper, but I don't know, his communication lets him down, his distribution lets him down, and his positioning lets him down. So I'm not too sure. Is it time we bring Fabianski back in, who I believe is like 39 this year? I mean, that shouts desperation if we're doing that. But I mean, something needs to change back there. It definitely does. The third one for me is the leadership. We lack leadership. Now, we lacked leadership last season. We had Kurt Zouma as captain, and he wasn't that kind of captain that would say what needed to be said on the pitch. And now we got Jarrod Bowen. Now, I absolutely love Bowen. I do, and I think he will be a really good captain, but he's that kind of captain that leads by example, which is fine for a captain if you're doing well. But when you're putting in performances like that, you really need your captain to, knock some heads together. You're like your old-fashioned captains, like your Julian Dixes and your Scott Parkers and your Mark Nobles, right? They were the captains that will say what needed to be said. Is Jarrod that kind of person? I'm not too sure, but he is a captain that will lead by example, but I don't think that's the captain we need at the moment. So yeah, we lack leadership. We need leadership on that field. We needed it last season, and we desperately need it this season. So is there someone else in that starting lineup who can step up and take control and say to the players who are not performing at the best of their ability, what tell them what needs to be said, give them a good bollocking? Because I feel like we are missing that. We are missing that kind of person who can lead and say the things that need to be said. The fourth one for me is big players underperforming. Kudus, Paquetá. They are the two big ones, aren't they? I mean, they have not been performing at the best of their ability so far this season, and I think it's becoming clear now that there is definitely something going on behind the scenes with both players. Now, we know what's going on with Paquetá. He's got all that betting stuff going on. It's obviously starting to impact his performances, and it has been for quite a while. It started near the end of last season where we weren't seeing the best from him either, and we do know that he is capable of playing much better. So, yeah, what is going on behind the scenes with him, I think is very clear now. It is definitely having an impact on his performances, but there's not really much we can do about that, and I don't know if there is something we can do to help him. Do we just drop him? Do we drop him and hopefully that that motivates him to try harder or to put in better performances? Maybe, I don't know. We have to try something with him because we're definitely not getting the best out of him at the moment. As I say, I think there's also something going on with Kudus behind the scenes as well, because his little outburst at the weekend is something we haven't seen before from him. We haven't seen that side of him, and he was angry, he was fuming, he completely lost it, and he was going for all these Tottenham players, which, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, seeing Richarlison go down like that after him getting headbutted by Kudus, which was a complete accident, was amusing. Seeing Van de Ven go down like a sack of potatoes because he just got pushed in the face, and then 5 seconds later getting up and complaining to the referee. Fucking annoying when you see that happen. And then he did it to Sarr as well. I mean, look, he deserved to get sent off. This day and age, those things will always get you sent off. Like, he completely lost it. So I'm starting to wonder if there's something going on behind the scenes with him as well. I don't know what it could be. Maybe it's the stuff going on with his national team, Ghana, really struggling at the moment. Maybe he's got home problems. Maybe he's just not happy at West Ham. I don't know. But I think it's becoming really clear that the Kudus is not particularly happy either at the moment. I don't know what we can really do in either of those situations at the moment. When it comes to Kudus, I'm just kind of hoping that he has a few games off. It may be a little bit longer than that, and in that time he sorts out whatever issues that he has, and when he comes back, we see the old Kudus back. That would be brilliant. But in the case of Paquetá, I don't really know at the moment. It seems like it's really having a big impact on his home life. So yeah, I mean, that is a worry. That is a little bit of a worry what's going on there. But yeah, what can we do? What can we do in those situations? I really don't know. And the last one for me is all the changes that we made in the summer. And yes, the manager is included in that. All right, because new manager coming in, introducing a new style of football, very different to the style of football these players have been playing over the last few years. New coaching staff, new backroom staff, of course, and that's going to be a big change. All these new players coming into the side as well, and it's becoming clear that these players are really struggling to gel as a team, struggle to get any consistency. Lopetegui obviously wants to play a certain way. What way that is, none of us are really certain on so far, and I'm not even sure the players are 100% certain about the way that they are playing, or maybe they are, and maybe they are not executing it correctly, or maybe he is not communicating what he wants them to do correctly. We don't really know, but they all stem from the fact that there's just been a lot of change. Now, hopefully, that last one is something that will just sort itself out over time. Eventually, the players will gel, they'll get used to the system, Lopetegui's plan will all start coming together, and things will improve. Hopefully that will. Now, all the other issues that I mentioned are down to the manager to try and sort out. They are all Lopetegui's responsibility, and hopefully he has also identified these issues and he is working on each one. That's all we can hope. Is any of it going to be an easy fix? No. Some things may be easier to fix than others. We may be able to sort out our midfield issues straight away, just a couple of changes here, and it may just click like that. A style change, a tactic change, personnel change, something, and we just get it right. It just happens. The leadership, well, maybe someone needs to step up. Maybe Lopetegui needs to say to someone, well, lead on the pitch. It's great to lead by example, Jared. It is, but if they're not performing, tell them they're not doing their job properly. We want to see some passion from someone on that pitch. And I don't think we've been seeing that. So yeah, again, that's something that Lopetegui needs to identify and needs to have a word to the players about. Maybe there's someone else who can take that role. Maybe Jared can be the person who's leading by example, and there's someone else who is responsible for kicking people up the arse when they're not doing their job properly. Maybe that is something. In regards to the goalkeeping issues, either Areola's form improves or we make a change and we put Fabianski in goal. See how that goes. The off-field issues, again, is a difficult one. Is there much we can do in Pakasar's situation? No, we can just try and support him and help him out as much as possible. As I say, maybe we drop him, and it makes him realise that he needs to up his game, and it kind of helps him out there maybe. With Kudus, as I said, I don't know what's going on at the moment, but hopefully West Ham and Lopetegui can identify that and help him out with whatever it seems to be bugging him at the moment. So there are my 5 big issues that I feel like we have at the moment, and a lot of them were very evident in that game against Tottenham, and I'm just going to put that behind me now. I mean, it was a shit game, it was a shit performance, and yeah, I've been getting abuse all weekend from Tottenham fans who are saying that they don't care about us, they don't see us as big rivals. I'll tell you what, because I post over on TikTok quite a lot, we've lost against so many teams, but we haven't actually lost against Tottenham since I've been doing TikTok. So I never knew, the reaction I would get from Tottenham fans. But I'll tell you what, I did a quick count of them, over like 400 comments from Tottenham fans on all my videos. Some videos that are not even mentioning Tottenham, not even mentioning the game. They're coming in just to rub it in. More response from an opposition fan base to that game than any other fan base on any other loss that we have experienced over the last year and a half. Tottenham fans say they don't care about it. Yeah, that's bullshit. They're loving it at the moment, and yeah, you would think with the reaction that that they are going with, they would have just won a cup final. So whose cup final was it? Because I thought it was ours. Yeah, I think they see this, they care about this game, that game as much as we do. All right, they like to pretend they don't, but we know they do. Anyway, we'll look forward to the game at the weekend against Manchester United at home, and hopefully we can put in a little bit better performance. Manchester United are a team who are beatable, and maybe we can get a result, and things will start to look up again. Put a smile back on our face, give us something positive to talk about again. Anyway, I should be on the West Ham Network tomorrow for Access Tickle Takeover. I've had a couple of weeks off where I've just been so busy, but no, I should be available for that. Hope to do a couple of lives this week as well, so keep your eyes out for that. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I know it's been a little bit of a long one, so yeah, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Good morning, good evening, good night, whenever you're watching, and come on, you Irons.